actually starting the book is the hardest. It's knowing where to start the story. Do you start, in the past, in the present, in the future? Where do you start? And I rewrote that opening many times before I ended up sending it to a competition, and ended up starting it at a point where Anna, my main character, is in a coma. She's in the hospital, and her husband is sitting at her side. And that's kind of how the story unravels in the present tense, but then it keeps going back into the past to actually see what happened, what led up to those events.
So when I wake up, it's obviously set in Sweden, and what was sort of the inspiration behind the location for that book?
I think that having grown up in Sweden, it was important for me to capture Sweden, because I think it's a really magical place. It's also just the atmosphere is really kind of mysterious sometimes, I find, because it's quite dark. You have spent so many months where it's just dark from 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think in that darkness, you create stories, basically. And I think that's really where the inspiration came from, because I was in Sweden. I was out late at night, leaving a friend's house, and it was really dark and no one was around, and I was in this small town where I come from, and everything was shut and nobody was there. And I thought, if something happened to me now, nobody would know. And I thought that is a great premise for a story.
So you're one of the winners for the Monty Grabber Prize in 2016. And
that's right.
What did it feel like when you won?
It was amazing. It felt like validation. You've been working on your writing for a long time, and to catch the judges' attention for my manuscript was amazing, because it felt like I was on the right track, and it was also incredibly motivating to know that when I finished that manuscript, somebody was going to read it. Of course, there are no guarantees that you're going to sign with an agent, that you're going to sign with a publisher, but all of that worked out, so I'm very pleased, obviously.
So New Year, 2019, what's on the cards this year for you?
So I've launched a new website.
Amazing.
That's very exciting, and I'm going to be speaking at the Emirates Airline Festival of Literature in March, and I will be hosting a number of workshops this year. The first one will be the middle of March, and I will be speaking at book clubs this year as well, and I would definitely encourage people to be part of a book club where you read the same book, or you can read different books. It doesn't really matter, but just the fact that you're meeting up, talking about literature. I'm part of a book club in Dubai and in Sweden, and if I'm not around, I get Skyped in, so that's really cool. And also I'll be traveling while writing my new book. So I'm doing a lot of research at the moment. I'm planning to write in a different genre, but I am also secretly plotting another psychological thriller back of my head. I would say to just write as much as possible, because nothing that you write is ever wasted. Every time you write something, you're discovering something new, and you're coming closer to finding your own voice. And once you find your own voice, it becomes so much easier to write something. And even if you write a full novel and you don't get it published, then you can put it aside and maybe look at it later, or maybe you have to realize that this is not to be published, but I've learned something from this, and then you embark on your new novel. It really is about perseverance, and you keep going and never give up.